Hey everybody, playing the role, Roger here. Just a quick video on the OSR. Just want to have a quick chat here. Um, there's been a lot of talk here and there about what the OSR is, and a lot of people seem to be arguing about what OSR is, what it means, and all of that. So take my definition with a grain of salt. But OSR stands for Old School Revival or Old School Renaissance, and it's generally in reference to an older way of thinking about role playing games. That's generally more rulings versus having rules in the game. Of course, again, there are a lot of people that are probably in disagreement with me about that. And there's another group of people that think that anything OSR has to be exactly how it was done in the 70s, 80s, or whatever time period that they want to kind of put the cutoff. Generally, somewhere between second and third edition is where the line is from old to new, but some people only consider the original first edition or OD&D or basic sets to be OSR. So whether I consider what I do OSR or not currently, I don't know. I kind of do, and I kind of don't in certain ways because I do use modern rules, and I don't use THACO anymore. I know, it's a big deal, but I like Ascending Armor class. It's easier to explain, I think. Not that THACO is difficult at all, but it's one of those things where everything in the game that I like is D20 plus modifiers rolling against a target number. So that just works out that AC works like everything else. I like a uniform system. So I think that's one of the things that they did very well with the third 3.5 editions of D&D. So I started playing D&D originally a long time ago with this, the Moldvay, the Moldvay basic set and the expert set after that, and this came with Keep on the Borderlands B2, which is a very famous module. If you don't know what it is, look it up. I think it's a great intro module, and I started with that and added other things along the way and played a bunch of different things. Got into third edition, kind of enjoyed how third edition worked, but some of my issues with 3 and 3.5, although I played them for years, they just, the simplicity of character generation is gone. It takes a long time to generate a character. I know you can spend a few minutes and you can roll something up quick, but compared to like the OD&D first edition stuff, you're just rolling your 3d6, boom, 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 and you can have a character made in literally 2 minutes. I mean, you'll spend more time thinking of a name than you will anything else, and it's just very, very simplified. Not that I dislike 3.5, Pathfinder. They all do the D20 system well. I think the issues are once you get into higher levels, and then the numbers are just out of control. Also, I think there's too many rules in the game for doing different things. Again, 3.5 mentions like grappling, and it's like a whole crazy concept instead of just, hey, just roll opposing strength rolls, or you roll a strength roll and you're going to try and get out, so roll a dex check, or however you want to do that, and it just make it a simple thing. And I know that they've changed a lot of that in 5th edition, but I still think there's a little too much there for me. Like the combat starts to take I think more time than it should in 5e versus OSR type games, where there's generally less hit points in an OSR game. The stats are lower, and you don't have this thing where you have so many actions per turn and so many things to do that the turns just take forever, and you need to look up what the steps are for everything. And I understand some people can do it quick, but it gets to the point where if you're rolling, like in an old school game, if you're rolling to hit and you're rolling at a +5 and you're rolling against an AC of 15, you have to roll a 10 or better. and the thing's got 8 hit points or 10 hit points or whatever it is, right? So 2 hits and it's done. So combat goes quick. And in 5e, it's like that in the beginning, but then at higher levels, it gets more so where you have multiple actions and multiple things going on, and everybody has their own abilities and things that work differently than everyone else's, and it makes the turn structure just goes on for a long time, and you're still rolling the same numbers. The numbers just get elevated, and you're still rolling that. We got to roll a 10 or higher or whatever to hit. That just scales as you level, and it just takes so much longer because there's so many more hit points and so many more things to do. And so I think an OSR game is quicker, at least it is for me. If you enjoy 5th edition, 4th edition, 3rd edition, whatever, keep playing it, do your thing. I mean, the most important thing anybody can ever tell you in these things is do what you like. I personally like the old school stuff, which is more, like I said, lower stats. The combat and stuff is quicker. Character gen is quicker, and everything's in the rulings. So, as opposed to rules. So instead of having all these rules for any special ability, like you just make it up on the fly, and the character, instead of looking at their character sheet saying, okay, what can I do? They just say, hey, I want to do this crazy thing. I want to jump off of this balcony sword first on this guy. And then, I would just have somebody roll an attack instead of, trying to say, okay, well, that's an acrobatics check and you'll have to make that. And then if you make that, then I'll let you get the attack. And just, I don't know, things like that. And again, I know that's DM style versus anything else. But it's just the way that I like to do it. I don't like having things set in stone on the character sheet. Now, having said that, I do intend to still use some skills in my future games, and I do in the games that I'm currently running. But I also like the D20 system. I know I say that the OSR is great, and it is. I love it. Old school stuff. It's really quick. You can make a character in, like I said, 2 minutes, but just some of that rolling, some of the die rolls that they had with like a D6 for skills or using percentile for certain other skills and things like that, I think got out of hand. And I really like the modernization of the D20 system. Again, props to Monty Cook for that. And but just know, okay, hey, roll a d20, add these modifiers, and you're trying to beat a target number. So, if you're trying to do a long jump, maybe it's strength, or maybe you want to use dexterity for it. I don't know. That's GM's call, right? Or player's call. Just make it up as you go, and just make those checks, and that's it. And you just keep moving on. And like I said, combat seems to go a lot quicker. So that's kind of how I do it. But we'll talk more on this later, and we'll just keep rolling. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm not the greatest at this, but hopefully it'll get better, and everything will be great, and we'll go from there. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.